Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius and welcome to another video. So recently I was responding to some of your comments and someone asked me if I could make a video talking about some stock ideas for a 55-gallon aquarium. Now at first I didn't think that this was a strong enough topic for a video. However, when you think about it, a 55-gallon is one of the most common tanks out there. I'm sure the majority of the people watching this video, we have June in the background being very distracting. But yeah, the majority of people who are watching this video, I'm sure most of you guys may have kept a 55-gallon aquarium. 55s, when we first get into the hobby, they seem like huge aquariums. They're 4 feet long, so they seem pretty big. But eventually, when you start taking the same course that I took, keeping Central and South American cichlids, and just larger fish in general, that 55 seems to shrink. Becomes a little bit awkward to work with. And you start losing interest in 55-gallon aquariums. Now your standard 55-gallon aquarium measures 48 inches long by 13 inches wide by 21 inches tall. Currently I have 2 of them running in the fish room. Now there's a lot of fish that cannot live inside a 55-gallon aquarium. I've seen Oscars, I've seen red devils, I've seen flowerhorns. I even see arowana living inside 55-gallon aquariums. And in my opinion, that's definitely not the way to go. These fish get way too big. Even though their body may physically be able to fit inside that size tank, I think it's just cruel to keep them in that tank for life. Now, while those fish cannot fit inside a 55, there are quite a few fish that can live inside a 55-gallon aquarium, and they are just as awesome as those fish. So with that being said, this video is going to list 55 aquarium fish that can live comfortably inside a 55-gallon aquarium. Now I'm not going to go and state the obvious. I could easily fill up 55 fish full of Tetra and fish that are just small and tiny. I want to list some fish that are decent size, that are nice and odd, and just fish. If I was to go and set up a fish room full of 55-gallon aquariums, these are the fish that I will have inside these tanks. Now we're getting ready to go through 55 different aquarium fish, so because of that I will be brief on each fish. So if you have any further questions or comments about the fish that you see in this list, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. With that said, let's get straight to it. So if you have a empty 55-gallon aquarium, you could go ahead to the fish store and you could buy yourself a pair of Convict Cichlids. Convict Cichlids are one of the easiest cichlids to take care of. They give you a basic idea of overall cichlid behavior. They also give you a nice lesson in breeding cichlids. Just get a male and a female and they'll fill up your 55-gallon aquarium in no time. You can get angelfish. In a 55-gallon aquarium, you could probably fit 5 to 6 angelfish, and they're peaceful, so you could do also some Tetra to school along with them. You can do a colony of loaches. Now you have several different types of loaches, and a few of them are suitable for a 55-gallon aquarium, including skunk loaches, coolie loaches, and yo-yo loaches. Whichever one you choose, I would get a nice school. And you know loaches, they occupy the bottom, so you will have to find some type of Tetra or barb to occupy the higher level of the aquarium. You get 25 tiger barbs. That's it. Tiger barbs are awesome and they'll definitely satisfy you. All I would need is 25 for a 55-gallon aquarium. You do Exodon Tetra, also known as Bucktooth Tetra. These are like miniature piranha. You can probably fit 10 to 12 inside a 55-gallon aquarium, and every now and then you feed them something cool because they will eat meat. They are carnivores and they're awesome. You can do shell dwellers. 55 gallons, once again 4 feet long. You can do nice sanded bottom with maybe 2 to 3 different species of shell dweller cichlids from Lake Tanganyika. And knowing me, I will want some higher level activity, so I will probably add some sardine cichlids, also from Lake Tanganyika. You do smaller species of Mbuna from Lake Malawi. A 55-gallon could do a nice colony of the Masonite or a nice colony of Afra. You can still be in Africa and do the African leaf fish. In a 55-gallon, you could probably fit 1. They are a little territorial towards each other. They will build a little hierarchy, so maybe it'll be best to do 1. Unless you have a lot of plants, you could do maybe 2. But 1 with some Congo Tetra, and you'll definitely have a very enjoyable aquarium. You can also do some calvus cichlids, another cichlid from Lake Tanganyika. Knowing me, I would mix the calvus with maybe some Julies, and they'll definitely put on a nice show. You can do some Kribensis Cichlids. These fish are very peaceful. You can maybe do 2 to 3 pairs any 55-gallon aquarium, depending on how you decorate the tank, creating different territories. Me, I will probably do 1 pair and get some nice schooling fish to go along with them. You do Jewel Cichlid. Jewel Cichlid, one of my favorite fish, very bright. In a 55, I would just do 1 pair. They are pretty aggressive, so 1 pair and let them fill up the tank by breeding. You do Flameback Cichlids. These are some Lake Victoria cichlids. I keep 1 male in my African cichlid tank, and he is absolutely gorgeous. So you could do 1 male, maybe 4 to 5 females, any 55. You'll get some nice showing off from the male, and it'll be very enjoyable. You can do a Jade Eye Cichlid, pair with some Tetra. Jade Eye Cichlids are similar to convicts. They get about the same size, around 5 inches. They just got a different pattern, and they're definitely not as aggressive, so they will do good with some type of schooling fish. Rainbow cichlids, very similar, around 5 inches, a different color pattern, at the same time very peaceful, so you can keep them with some type of schooling fish. You could do a Salvini Cichlid. Now Salvini, they are a little bit tricky when it comes to finding out how you're going to keep them in a 55. When it comes to size, they definitely can fit. They only get about 6 inches, but they're extremely aggressive, so you either get a mated pair, you could try to do a colony, maybe 5 of them, and eventually let the mated pair form from there, but mixing any other fish can be a risk because these guys are pretty nasty. You can do firemouth cichlids. Firemouths, they look mean, but they're definitely not as mean, so you may be able to mix them with some type of schooling Tetra, as long as it's not small enough to be eaten by them. You do electric blue Acara, same thing as the Jade Eye and the Rainbow Cichlid. They are very peaceful fish, and you can mix them with schooling fish as long as the schooling fish are not small enough to be eaten. A nice pair in a 55 will look awesome. Parrot fish can be kept in a 55-gallon aquarium. You can probably keep a male and a female mated together. As long as we're not talking about the King Kong parrots, your regular parrots only get about 6 to 7 inches. You can keep them once again in a pair with some larger schooling fish, or if you want, you could keep a solo parrotfish, just one parrotfish, and that'll heighten your chances of building a bond with that fish, and it'll be cool to interact with that fish with your hand and just a nice wet pet. Same thing with the Kirin Parotfish, which is pretty much a parrotfish with the flower horn pattern. These fish are a little bit more aggressive, so it's probably best just to keep it solo, and there's no denying that you will build a nice bond with that fish. You can do Apistogramma. We all know that there's many different types of Apistogramma. Me, I would probably do 4 different species, a lot of plants, and it'll definitely look awesome. You can do a Platy tank with all the different colors of Platy. You probably could fit about 30 different Platys inside a 55-gallon aquarium. Imagine that being a planted tank. It will look amazing. You do Sailfin Mollies. Sailfin Mollies are gorgeous fish. Males get about 5 inches, and they definitely are some great display fish for a 55-gallon aquarium. You could probably put 2 males with 5 to 6 females, and that will look awesome. You do ram cichlids. Ram cichlids are common. You have several different types, and they also will do good. You could probably put maybe 3 to 4 pairs inside a 55, and it will be very enjoyable. Dwarf pikes are another type of fish you can keep inside a 55-gallon aquarium. Now these fish are very aggressive, especially towards each other, so it's probably best in a 55 just to keep one solo. If you're lucky, you can find a mated pair, but that's definitely not easy to do. But yeah, one solo inside a 55-gallon aquarium will be nice. Now these fish are predators, so you don't want to add any fish small enough to eat. But yeah, one dwarf pike, a highly planted aquarium with maybe some larger tiger barbs or something like that that they can't swallow, and that definitely is an enjoyable tank. You can do some halfbeaks. Halfbeaks are some live bearers that look like gars. They school together, so you can probably put about 6 of them. They'll stay at the top of your tank, and they will look absolutely amazing. These are some carnivores, so every now and then you can feed them some live foods, and they definitely will be some enjoyable fish for a 55-gallon aquarium. If you have sand as a substrate in your 55-gallon aquarium, you could go ahead and put some dwarf flounder in that tank. These fish only get about 3 to 4 inches, and you can probably put 5 to 6 of them in that aquarium, and they will look awesome. They stay at the bottom, so you might want to put some fish to occupy the upper levels of the aquarium. You can also do some crocodile fish. Crocodile fish are like a predatorial type of gourami. I would do a highly planted aquarium with 1 crocodile fish and some fish to school around them that are bigger than its mouth, and that definitely will be entertaining. You can do a glass themed aquarium. I will have like 5 to 6 glass catfish along with some glass Tetra, and that definitely will be pretty amazing and pretty unique because you don't really see that too often. You can do Peacock Gudgeon. Now these fish are very peaceful. You could probably keep 5 to 6, a small colony. They have a lot of color, and once again they're peaceful, so you can keep some nice community fish along with them. You could keep a school of spotted silver dollars. Spotted silver dollars are the smallest of all silver dollars, getting only about 4 to 5 inches, which is good for a 55. You probably could keep about 6 to 7 inside a 55-gallon aquarium, and it definitely will look very cool. You can keep most money rainbow fish in a 55-gallon aquarium. I would keep maybe 6 or 7, and it definitely will get the job done. You can keep some porthole catfish inside a 55. These fish get about 5 to 6 inches, and they like to be kept in groups. So a group of 6 in the 55 will look awesome. Just keep in mind these are bottom dwellers, so you're going to want some fish to occupy the upper portion of the tank. You can do a cold water tank. Keep 2 Oranda goldfish. I say 2 because they get about 5 to 6 inches in diameter, and 2 would occupy a 4-foot tank pretty well, along with a single dojo loach. Dojo loaches get about 8 inches, so that will look cool as adults. You do an Asian stream aquarium, which is pretty much just like my 29-gallon Asian stream tank, just on a larger scale. More hill stream loaches, more Janio, more white cloud minnows, and that definitely will be very nice to see. You could go North American native with a pumpkin seed sunfish in a 55-gallon aquarium. I say pumpkin seed because these are some of the most common panfish, and also they don't get too big, so you can either do a pair or a single individual, and I think that they will be very entertaining. You could keep a Keyhole Cichlid with some schooling fish. Keyhole, you could keep a pair or a individual. These are kind of like the rainbow fish. They don't get too big, about 5 to 6 inches, and they are generally peaceful. You can keep Geophagus Steindachneri. You could keep a colony of them. I used to keep them. They are awesome, very beautiful. Probably keep 1 male to 3 females. These are mouth brooders, so that's pretty awesome. You can keep Geophagus redhead tabajo. These Geophagus pair together, so you have to keep a male and a female together, mated together. They look awesome, and they do well with most fish as long as the fish are not small enough to be eaten. You can do the Demon Earth Eater. This is another Earth Eater, another closely rated to the Geophagus. Probably keep a pair, but they are pretty cool looking. And once again, they won't eat fish as long as it's not too small. You can have a nice colony of Badis Badis in a 55-gallon aquarium. These are some nice oddball fish, get about 3 to 4 inches, and they look very cool, and they're not too commonly seen. I would keep maybe 6 or 7 inside a 55-gallon aquarium. I would probably keep it nice and planted because they are a little bit territorial towards each other. But once again, these fish aren't too common, and they definitely look awesome. You can toss a lot of driftwood inside that 55-gallon aquarium and keep some whiptail catfish. The more driftwood you get in that tank, the more activity you get from the catfish, and they definitely are some nice oddballs. You can keep some African butterfly fish. These are fish closely related to the arowana. They have a nice drop-down jaw. And a 55, you probably could put 4 to 5. Just make sure you keep a lid because these fish like to jump, but they are predators. So every now and then you can toss them some crickets, and they will hunt them down and look awesome. You can keep spotted pictus catfish, a group of them in a 55, maybe 4 or 5. Just make sure you don't get it confused with the 4-lined pictus catfish. I have some of those in my 210-gallon aquarium, and those get 10 inches. But the spotted pictus catfish only get about 6 inches, which is suitable for a 55-gallon aquarium. And you can also put some schooling fish at the top as long as they're not small enough to be eaten. If you're looking for a fish with a nice nuchal hump for a 55-gallon aquarium, the lionhead fish, also known as the buffalo head cichlid, is definitely a great option. These fish are fairly aggressive. They come from Africa. But the good thing is that these fish spend a lot of their time towards the lower section of the aquarium. So if you want to mix them with other fish, you could go ahead and add some top swimming fish. I would get a male and a female and maybe some Congo Tetra to go along with them. And that will be a beautiful tank. You could do some upside down catfish in a 55-gallon aquarium. These catfish get about 5 inches and they swim upside down. You could probably get maybe 5 or 6 in a 55, and it will be pretty cool to look at. You can show all your relatives, your young relatives that, and they should be pretty entertained. You could keep some gold and blue gourami. These gourami get about 4 to 5 inches. You just want to make sure you keep the tank nice and planted because they can be pretty territorial. So the more plants you have, the more they're able to separate their territories. You can keep orange chromite cichlids. Now these fish are very rare, so it will be nice if you could find some, but you could probably keep a pair in a 55-gallon aquarium. They definitely look awesome, and once again, they're pretty rare, so it's definitely nice to keep a rare fish. You could keep Festivum Cichlids in a 55-gallon aquarium. These fish get about 6 to 7 inches, so you might want to do either a single one in a community of other peaceful fish because they are pretty peaceful, or you could try to get a pair, and that will look pretty awesome inside a 55-gallon aquarium. Headstanders are another good option for oddball fish for a 55-gallon aquarium. They get about 4 to 5 inches. You have different types. One of my favorite types is the striped headstander. I would probably put 5 to 6 of them inside a 55, and they will spend the majority of their day standing on their heads, which would be pretty cool. You could keep some bamboo shrimp inside a 55-gallon aquarium. I would keep a small colony. These shrimp are pretty cool because they like to filter through the water and they like a lot of flow. So what you would do is put a power head or something to create a lot of flow, and they would just stay in the flow and look pretty awesome. Also put a lot of driftwood in there, and they're going to be perched on the driftwood, filtering through the water. It's just a very cool thing to see. I would mix them with some Danio, and that would be a very amazing tank. Lambchop Rasbora. Currently in my 55-gallon planted tank, I have 20 of them schooling together, and they look awesome. I imagine if you put 30 of them inside a 55-gallon tank, just Lambchop Rasbora alone, that will be amazing. You can do a solo version of the following female fish: green terrors, Jack Dempseys, and red devils. Keep in mind, I said the females. The males, I think, all get too big. Red devils get about 12 inches. Jack Dempseys, they say they get about 12 inches. And green terrors, the males, get about 12 inches. While the females, they get much smaller, around 6 to 7 inches. All 3 of those can do well in a 55-gallon aquarium. So if you go to your local fish store and you see red devil that's labeled as a female. Yes, she can live inside a 55-gallon aquarium. Same thing with the Jack Dempsey, same thing with the green Tetra, same thing with the Cuban cichlid. Those female versions don't get as big, and they are suitable for a 55-gallon aquarium. You can also keep electric blue Jack Dempsey cichlids in a 55-gallon aquarium. You can either keep a solo one with some larger schooling fish, nothing small because these fish will eat smaller fish. You can keep a pair, but yeah, electric blue Jack Dempseys, they don't get as big as the regular Jack Dempseys, making them suitable for a 55. I'm getting a little bit tongue-twisted, my mouth getting a little bit tired, but we're almost done. So next you can do a rainbow shark. Now, rainbow sharks are some tricky fish. These fish are very territorial. These are one of the fish that I said I'll never keep, but if I had to keep them, I would put them in a 55-gallon aquarium. I would make the tank highly planted. And if I was looking for tank mates, I would look for tank mates that wouldn't spend the same amount of time on the same level as the rainbow shark. So the rainbow shark likes to swim at the top, at the middle of the tank and the bottom of the tank. So that means I would look for some fish that would stay at the top of the tank, like maybe some hatchet fish or something like that. But rainbow fish, or rainbow shark rather, are able to get very territorial. So you definitely want to be careful when it comes to finding tank mates. Any tank mates need to be fish that stay out of the rainbow fish's way. Next, you could do a female Betta Sorority. By the way, this is the 55th fish or option for stocking your 55-gallon aquarium. And yeah, it is the female Betta Sorority. Look at that, my mouth is getting so tired. Female Betta Sorority. You probably keep maybe 10 to 12 female Betta inside a 55-gallon. Probably do best if it's planted. But yeah, that will look awesome. You get a nice amount of color, and just overall that Betta behavior is amazing. So everyone, that's been 55 fish suitable for a 55-gallon aquarium. But guess what? I have one more for you guys, a bonus fish, and that is the Barbs Cichlid. Now this fish is only a bonus because it is for experts only. These fish are extremely aggressive. They only get about 6 to 7 inches, but when it comes to mixing them with other fish, that's the biggest difficulty. You could try to get a colony, maybe 5 of them, and hopefully you could get a pair. But I've read a lot of times that people are only able to keep pairs in tanks as large as 125 gallons because the males a lot of times kill the females. So if you want to keep a Barbs Cichlid and play it safe, just get one and let them be a solo fish inside a 55-gallon aquarium. Or if you have some experience under your belt, go ahead and try to get a pair. But yeah, YouTube, that's been 55 stock ideas for a 55-gallon aquarium. Now, I did get tired towards the end. My mouth got a little sore or whatever, and my words got tongue twisted, so I do apologize about that. But as always, let me know what you guys think about everything you just heard. If there's any fish you want more information about, let me know in the comment section below, and I will get back to you. And as always, if you want more, hit that subscribe button because you already know more is coming.